This is the fourth in our series of seminars on technical production and accounting. Now, this session that we have tonight is a joint session between technical operations and production operations. We have combined them so that you can see how they work together and to point out the very important fact that their operations are very closely interwoven and are very much interdependent. We do not function very well separately. Now, I think that our sets, our props, our costumes, and our makeup are just about ready for us to go into rehearsal. At this point, I'm going to ask the technical department to please take over and start the camera rehearsal. Mr. Bob Hammer.
Simultaneously with what just went on, the technical crew is setting up their facilities. Let me backtrack a couple of hours and explain in capsule form what happened. The technical crew is composed of a TD, which is a technical director, usually 3 or 4 cameramen, a video man who controls the levels, an audio man, 2 boom men, and some utility men who usually come in approximately an hour before rehearsal begins. Prior to this, the maintenance team will place power on the cameras in order to warm them up so that they will reach a stable condition prior to the crew working on them. However, let's see exactly what happens. Ordinarily, at this instance, the cameras are placed in front of a test pattern and electrically aligned so that they are putting out optimum pictures. This test pattern, which is over here, is usually composed of what is known as a grayscale chart, which is this, and a test pattern, which I will go into at some later time. The camera is really a 3-part unit. There's the camera itself, which you see here. There is the camera control unit, which controls certain electronic parameters, and the power supply. These are located in the equipment room, which I will talk about later. The camera itself is made up of conventional parts similar to the ones in your home TV receiver, with one addition, and that is an image orthicon. If we can open up the sides here, you can see it's made up of various electronic parts which really are no different than the ones that you have home in your hi-fi or stereo you have. Plus, there is an image orthicon in it, which is located here. This image orthicon will run about 300 hours and will cost approximately $1,400. The camera, the power supply, and the control unit run approximately $15,000 for the combination of 3. The camera is placed on a pedestal which moves up and down as is being demonstrated now, and it is mounted on a pan head which will rock left and right and up and down. As you will note, the camera is a fairly small electronic device, and you will also note the viewfinder through which the cameraman can see and knows the picture that he is taking. The cameraman talks to the control room to receive instructions from the director via an interphone headset, which is commonly called cans. You will note there is a hearing device and a microphone which is plugged into the side of the camera. It is exactly the same as the headset a telephone operator uses. The picture from the camera and the sound from the interphone system is carried to the control room and the equipment room by means of a camera cable. These camera cables have approximately 32 conductors in it. Also noted on here is an electronic, can you demonstrate it? That can take it up or down electronically. The booms, we have two different types. One is the Fisher boom, which is being taken out now, and the other is the Moll-Richardson boom, which is over in the corner. The Fisher boom will extend approximately 14 feet. On this Fisher boom happens to be a 642 microphone, which I'll talk about later. The Fisher boom also is hydraulically worked where it can go down or up. Or it can go down. The communications are via the control room is by a different type of headset. In one ear there is program, and the other ear there is the direct-to-talk. These cables are connected into AV boxes, which are audio-video boxes along the periphery of the stage. There are almost any different type microphone you can think of can be placed on these booms to the various microphones which are shown here. This happens to be called a 655. This happens to be called a 666, which happens beyond the Moll-Richardson boom, 77D, and this is an old-time 44BX. And going on to what is known as a 643 or machine gun mic. This mic itself is used on the presidential press conferences where it can pick up the voice of any of the correspondents asking the president questions. The floor monitors are then moved on stage and plugged in. They're used for several purposes. One, for the performers to see themselves if they desire. Two, to take cues when to appear on stage. And three, to view commercials or inserts that will be shown on air. As I mentioned before, all these cables terminate in audio-video boxes, which are along the periphery here, which are really junction boxes, which terminate cable runs from the control room and the equipment room. They carry power, they carry the video, or let me say picture, audio, communications, etc. The only connection between these audio-video boxes and the control room are cables which are strung between this point to the control room. However, before we proceed further to show you the control room and equipment room, let me point out some of the facilities we have in a typical theater. There is a public address system, which is really composed of a number of speakers over which the audience can hear my voice or any voices that the audio man wishes to place over it, and these are really, you can look above you and you could see them. There are some in white boxes. There are some horns also. There's the audience reaction system, which is nothing more than a group of microphones on which the audience applause can be picked up and amplified and placed on air. You can see them as microphones, which are seen in front here and over and above you. There are the monitors. Since the stage is usually so cluttered up with cameras, booms, monitors, cranes, and other pieces of equipment, monitors must be placed around the audience. There are the applause signs. You will note around you various applause signs which are activated, indicating to the audience when they should applaud. There are sound effects, which is in the balcony stage right. It's really nothing more than a sound effects console, which a group of turntables are placed on, similar to those which records are played on at home. We can hear some typical sound effects. There are two other key technical areas in the theater. And they're the control room, which in this theater is located in stage left in the back, where the AD, the director, the associate director, the technical director, the lighting director, and the audio man and video man operate from. The technical director actually controls what picture goes on air at the command of the director. And you can see a picture of that on your monitors now. The technical director is technically responsible for the quality and sound of the pictures that are placed on air. The video man with the lighting director is responsible for the picture quality. And you can see on your monitors there's a bank of about 12 monitors, which you can see in the center. The repeat monitors, which you see now, are in front of both the video man and the technical director, associate director, the director team, and actually are picture repeats of all cameras and all feeds, such as received from film and videotape. These monitors give the director and production crew a view of all pictures from all different sources. These are then selected and placed on air in the sequences directed by the director of the program. The other key technical area is the equipment room, located just below the control room in the basement, which is directly below it. In this room are the power supplies, camera control units, jack fields, and sync generators. By the way, the sync generator is a device I mentioned in my previous lecture, which ensures that the pictures that you are seeing from this particular studio are an exact time sequence with the pictures you're seeing on the home receiver. What you have just seen is a technical plant. Now we will proceed with what is known as a lineup procedure. The purpose of this procedure is to mechanically adjust the whole system so that it is electronically working at its optimum performance. The test charts, which are placed in front of the camera and which you are now looking at, is used to check that all cameras look electronically the same. This will allow you to determine basically the following features. One, the horizontal and vertical resolution. You know this as definition. The greater the definition or resolution, the finer the picture looks. These vertical lines, which I will point to here, represent the definition. If you can see and discern these black lines up here, and you can see up to 500 lines. This is what is commonly called the definition of the camera is 500 lines. The small arrowheads are used to properly center the pattern and set the aspect ratio. The proper aspect ratio is 4 units horizontally and 3 units vertically. These ratios were determined by the motion picture industry. There's also the grayscale or contrast performance of the system, which is determined by these grayscale charts here and by this grayscale chart here. Really, it goes from a contrast range of, we can call it from 0 to 10. There are many other parameters, such as uniformity of shading, grayscale rendition, interference in the picture, etc. In addition to the test chart parameters, there are others which must be checked. All of these are controlled by the video man. Video control is divided into two areas. The alignment, which you saw in the equipment room, and the operating controls, which are in the control room. The controls located in the equipment room are the setup controls and are adjusted only during lineup. Once set up, the adjustment is no longer necessary. Some of these controls affect picture resolution. Others affect the ultimate grayscale rendition. As you can see, by adjusting the controls, you can change the definition, as you can see by the lines going in and out of focus. Once the cameras are properly aligned, only 3 controls are necessary for its operation. These appear at the video man's position in the control room. As you will note on the screen, you have the test pattern on top, and at the bottom, the actual controls. These, by the way, are in the control room. If the exposure is changed, you can see what happens to the picture. Actually, what is happening here is the iris, which is similar to the iris in a camera, which you have home, is being adjusted. There is gain, which the man can make the picture brighter or darker. There is also what is known as blanking or pedestal, which also basically has the same effect. After the test chart is set up, a chip chart, which is this chart here, is placed up, and from a grayscale point of view, all cameras are set up. So when there is any cutting from one camera to another, they will match, and there will be no contrast change at all. As you will note on these cameras, there are lenses, which are also similar to the ones, although much bigger, that you have on your home cameras. There is now a 2-inch lens or a 50-millimeter lens focused on me. You'll notice it's a wide shot. If the cameraman flips to a 3-inch lens, it becomes a tighter shot. If it goes to a 5-inch lens, it becomes even tighter. And an 8-inch lens becomes very tight. We will now go to the other camera to show you the effect of a zoom lens, and show that the same effect you have between a 2-inch lens and the 8-inch lens can be done with a zoomar or a continually variable lens. This shows you why zoomars are very popular with the director, as he can change from a wide shot to a tight shot without cutting at all. The remaining adjustments that must be made prior to the beginning of the rehearsal is to check the microphones, the picture and sound levels, and if a special effects amplifier is used, this must be tested out also. Just for interest, I will show you on a monitor what different wipe configurations look like. What will come up will be a vertical wipe, then a horizontal wipe, then a diagonal wipe, and a box wipe. All of the wipes that you have seen are based on these basic 4 functions. The lineup is now finished, and we are ready for rehearsal. Can we see the film on the RP, please? Actually, you will note that there is a shine on these top windows. This can be fixed by spraying it down. Can we please have it sprayed down? All right. Not too good, Snooks. While this is being done, we can look at the jacket. When you point one here, please, Miss Forrest. Which really, when you look at it, is much too shiny. This jacket should be changed. Can we have it changed, please? Or covered up? As you will notice, with a different simulated jacket on, the picture becomes much better. Also, you will notice Ms. Forrest's features are shiny, and the lipstick is light. Can we have that please fixed up? Thank you. Also, if we have improper lighting, if the lights are brought up, you will see that the picture will flatten out, and there'll be lack of contrast range in it. If we can have the lights brought down to improve the picture. At this point, we'll assume that rehearsal has begun and that the show has aired. But it isn't over yet, because Mr. Winkler will have to come in and show how this is broken down.
After the show has been aired and seems to be over as far as everyone else is concerned, the work of production is still not complete. We still have additional work that has to be done. First of all, we must take off the makeup, which you see is going on over on your right. The costumes are being put away. Mr. O'Brien is about to strike the set. And while this is going on, we'll see the other highly important activity which is done at this time. The production supervisor, Mr. Cambria, is busily engaged in getting together his post-estimate. You will note that several things have happened to the estimate to make it different from the post-estimate. We originally figured that this set was going to be a modern interior. The director, however, decided to change his mind at the last minute and make it a 1900 period. This involved a little bit more work for the shop, a little bit more painting, and cost a little bit more money, so his estimate is a little bit higher than when he started out. You will find also that the rehearsal took a little bit longer than was anticipated, so the cost for studio usage, technicians, and stagehands has likewise gone up. In other words, the show cost a little bit more money than had been estimated. However, each one of these changes was approved by the producer of the show, so that he is not the least bit upset when he gets what you now see on the screen here, which is the bill which is received by the client. Once this document that you see here is mailed out, the show is really over. Thank you.